Kabhi Khushi, Kabhi Gham.
Yeah,
Oh man, God good.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Brown music.
Hare Rama.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
My name is Manish Sharma.
And my name is Lena Monroe.
And we are the co-creators of Bollywood Shenanigans, and I can't believe it's not butter chicken!
Can you tell us a little bit about Bollywood Shenanigans and then about the troupe and just kind of what you guys are going for and what inspired to bring you guys together?
Okay, we'll just sort of
That's
go
a
back
fully
and forth
loaded
here.
question here.
All right, so here, Bollywood Shenanigans is an entertainment, comedy, dance company brought together to inspire the world through comic, sketch, song, and dance. And it doesn't matter if you're a visible minority or not.
That's pretty much our mission statement right there. Yeah. And
I
we
have it tattooed on a private place.
Yeah.
My elbow. Yeah,
her elbow.
I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, so you can't see
it's
it.
very private. She's very picky about her elbows. We formed in 2008, and
by we, like Manish and I.
Yes, we are the originators. Yeah, we formed in 2008, and we've been doing basically a show or two yearly since then.
When someone comes to one of your shows, obviously funny is funny, but is there a flavor to your group that is specifically South Asian that people are really going to pick up on? Like, is it just your references, or is there a specific style of comedy?
I just want to say one thing about that. Yes, we are highly, highly offensive.
Nice.
No one can dodge our ability to offend you, but actually we do have a specific style. We are very much influenced by the Bollywood of days of old. So Lena and I are huge fans of Bollywood, and so we grew up watching it. So there's a extreme, basically influence of Bollywood. Yeah. We also talk a lot about the South Asian community in North America, and kind of growing up as a first-generation Canadian who is also learning to be Indian. So there's a lot of wonderful things of that nature.
But their messages are quite universal. I mean, I love to compare this show to, for example, do you remember that hit movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding? Mm-hmm. It was such a hit because it was phenomenal because it hit many topics that everyone sort of knows about. It wasn't just particular to the Greek culture. Well, our show is a lot like that. So we have people from all kinds of different nationalities and cultures because we talk about things that affect everyone. Like, we talk very openly about sex or racism or terrorism was the topic before?
Once, yes.
Once. What else is there?
We talk about marriage, obviously.
Marriage.
Relationships.
Oh, yeah, lots of that.
A whole lot of relationships.
And just funny, bizarre stuff, too.
Yeah, like definitely for this show, we have, for instance, well, we can give us some, we talk about how it would be if men acted like women. Mm-hmm. So we have a couple of sketches like that. And not, just to point out a few things that happen when women go out to a club. So those are the few things to talk about. Obviously, arranged marriage is a huge thing. Mm-hmm. And this time for a show, we talk about Bollywood scenarios, too, where, as you're aware, the Bollywood industry is huge, and they make, I don't know how many films a year. But there's a lot of things about Bollywood, especially in the filming process that people don't know. And so we kind of actually bring that to light this time and kind of make fun of it.
Yeah, I'm just going to say beware the casting couch.
Oh.
Yeah,
there's a lot of very attractive men and ladies in Bollywood.
And now you know how they get lead parts.
If you want to be a Bollywood actor, you got to be able to not wear a shirt.
And you've got to be able to pull your skirt or your pants on and off very quick. For all the scene changes.
Yeah.
What?
Well, yeah.
What's the giggling?
Yeah,
that wasn't supposed to be
You're funny. Sometimes you say things and I just start laughing.
All right, then.
You could be reading taxes.
I could be in a Bollywood movie. No, they never hire me. Why?
Do you guys pull these characters from real life? Are they kind of amalgamations? Obviously you make fun of stereotypes as well.
Certainly.
So do you have any favorite influences that you can talk about without embarrassing anyone?
I actually, anything that I've ever done, I just make fun of in a generalized form. So sometimes I just do something funny at home and I go, that's funny. I wonder if other people laugh about it, and then I do it. And if they laugh, it's good. If it's not, I never talk about it again. Or I just make fun of, like I said, stereotypes or reverse stereotypes. How about you, Lena?
Well, Manish, I actually do not work quite like that. I sometimes make fun of scenarios, but more often than not, I make fun of very, very specific either incidents that I have seen or have happened to me, or very specific people. But I love the people, and nobody ever figures out that it's them. Like, Sex Rapidante is actually based on my mom. And my mom saw the show for the first time in November, and she never put it together, actually. I did say to my mom, because we had a pretty...
Well, don't tell her to listen to this, I guess.
Oh, she's so great. She doesn't care. She's a very sweet lady. But I remember after the show, I said to her, I'm like, Mom, I know it was a bit dirty, hey? And she goes, no, what dirty? No, it's good. And I'm thinking, of course my mother wouldn't think it was dirty.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was so clearly dirty.
Yeah, we do say a lot. We don't say a lot, but we do tend to not be afraid of saying things. Like,
There was a sketch called Sex or Dance, where we said that we were going to completely, do things to each other. And that was in front of our parents. And for the record, Manish and I are like a brother and sister in real life.
That's hot.
that's hilarious that you thought that.
And so we're doing this sketch in front of your parents and my parents. I want whatever we do to have a very strong element of positivity and inspiration, and to evoke really, really positive change. So whenever we're talking about stereotypes, it's so, so important that those stereotypes are exaggerated to an extreme, so people understand that this exaggeration, this isn't necessarily the norm, and if it is, it ought not be. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
We pull it apart so that we blow up that stereotype so that it can one day explode, and people can see the ridiculousness of this, like, say, a wife abusing character. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not to say every man wife abuses, but the ones that do, they exist, and it is a horrible thing to do. And why are they doing it? It's ridiculous that it exists in this day and age. So that's kind of the approach we take. There was one instant I remember, though, during the Abbotsford show. Do you remember this? Where, one of our co-actors just happened to say a word sort of wrong, and it was not planned, and it came out, and it was not a big deal, but I remember clearly some people were laughing for the wrong reason. Mm-hmm. And like we talked about it afterwards, and it's a very, very fine line, but I hope that we're approaching it the best way we possibly can, because our intention is not to hurt people, and it is not to get the wrong people to laugh at the wrong things.
Mm-hmm. And also at the end of the day too, we also realize that comedy is very subjective, so some people come and watch our shows and they're like, that was just a lot of funny stuff. Wow, that was funny. And other people go, I got the message you guys were trying to say. So it's give and take. I mean, actually 99% of the time, everybody just enjoys the show. We always make it a point to, after the show's done, to like step outside and thank everyone for coming. And we do hear a lot of positivity stuff. And once in a while, there's always somebody who might not get it completely. And again, it's sometimes has to do with age, because we don't like to put a cap on who should be at our shows and whatnot. If you're 18 and over, please come and check it out, and then you'll obviously have a good time and maybe even learn something. But we realized that when we first started doing the show, we just had our friends would come, and anything we did was funny. And then when it got more of a notoriety and people started to come watch us, then it started to people used to wonder, is this funny enough? Or we started worrying if this is going to offend anyone. And sometimes what happens, if you start worrying about that and don't stay genuine to what you want to do, then it does begin to happen. Mm-hmm. So most of the time we just try to stay true to what we want to do, and that just make people laugh and learn things and have a good time, and that's what we get.
Yeah. One of the things we're doing at the station right now, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it, is Asian Heritage Month. It's funny because when we did Black History Month, we had some really interesting responses from the Black community that had issues with having this designated month, and from my background in studies, I totally understand it, because it's like, okay, this is the month, but then the rest of the time, are we just going to ignore this issue? Are we going to ignore these people? So it's an interesting phenomenon, and I was wondering if you guys had any thoughts on that type of celebration, positive or negative, how you're invested in that type of celebration.
Actually, it's interesting. I've thought about this earlier. I think sometimes you have to start somewhere, and you have to bring something into the light. And so things such as, Asian Heritage Month or, Black History Month, these are very important to start something. But it is one of those things, I agree with the fact that you should not ever forget about it. And it's just, to me, it's like the world is changing. You have to first celebrate within yourself before you can celebrate with everybody else. Mm-hmm. And there is one of those things, like what we do, for instance, in the past 3 years that we've started doing a sketch comedy troupe, and we are predominantly a South Asian sketch comedy group. We've also, aside from people such as Russell Peters and whatnot, there has been a lot more, South Asian comedians that have come out and other actors and whatnot, and it has to start somewhere, but that doesn't mean that it only is confined to that one moment, So it's one of those things where you do have to start somewhere, but eventually it will just be commonplace. I mean, we are diverse, so that's the whole point.
I agree with that, actually, Manish. And I also think that it depends on the intention. It's unfortunate if you'll always have people who view things either from a very positive and loving perspective or from a critical perspective. That critique is important, though, too, because it incites change. But when I think of something like a month dedicated to celebration, I just don't see how that can be that bad. Celebration is beautiful. Our culture is based on so many moments in the South Asian culture. It's almost as though the calendar is not dictated by the month, it's dictated by the next celebration. Celebration is the underlying force of a lot of where we're from.
In fact, that is what is used to create the song Celebration from Kool and the Gang.
Oh, okay.
So, celebrate. Yeah,
that's actually what I always got that feeling.
That reference is from,
South Asian culture.
Yes.
Really? That's what I always thought, and I told everyone.
Celebrate these times. Oh.
That's the Indian version. See, the music's a bit different, but that's exactly what it's about, right?
What can I ask? What your guys' backgrounds are? I know I have a Welsh and Scottish background. So
me too.
That's so weird.
That is, because I don't look like a white person at all. I'm kidding.
She really does. That's the joke. Is that she totally looks like... No. I don't know.
My name is Lena Monroe. I'm Hindu Punjabi.
Oh, okay.
I as well am Hindu Punjabi. But I'm from Saskatchewan.
Nice.
I'm from Calgary.
Nice. Now, how long have you guys been in Vancouver? From the far-off land of Saskatchewan and Calgary? Was it a big culture shock is what I'm wondering.
It was a huge culture shock for me, especially. Tell you the truth, both of us are very similar in the way we're brought up, because both Alberta and Saskatchewan are more predominantly Caucasian. Mm-hmm. And when we moved to Vancouver, we're like, holy cow, there's brown people here. What's up with that, right? So, and we had to adjust in our own ways. Oh, actually, Lena was pretty happy. She finally could meet brown men, so.
Yeah, whatever. I dyed my hair blonde. Come on, man. My name is Lena Monroe. It's bad.
She's equal opportunity. So what we can take away from this is celebration, awareness, and Lena is open to anyone.
All good things.
Oh. Yes, it's true. It's true. Well, what do you do?
After this next show, this kind of set of shows, do you have any new projects in the works out there in the cloud?
Yes, we do. Actually, we do have a YouTube channel called Bollywood Shenanigans, and we have a few sketches up there, and we'll continue putting up many of our sketches there. We're working on a touring show. We went actually and toured to Alberta last year, and we're hoping to do that again this year and possibly go into the States later on in the fall. And we are always doing something, and you can always check our website, BollywoodShenanigans.com, our Facebook page, Bollywood Shenanigans. You can like it if you'd like, so you should probably like it.
Like it even if you don't like, just like it.
And you can even follow us on Twitter, Shenanigans at Twitter.
Twitter.
And I just want to reinforce one more time the fact that you can get all this information on two different websites. South Asian Arts, which is our co-producer in this venture, their website is southasianarts.ca, and of course BollywoodShenanigans.com. Yeah, so check it out.
Yeah, big shout out to South Asian Arts because they've been fantastic partners for us for the last basically 2 years. So we wouldn't be doing these fantastic shows without them. But yeah, come check it out.